Okay, I've got the 1996 Chevrolet Beretta here. Haven't seen it in a while. Where are we at? 118,308 miles. And I've been driving this car for the last several days because my mom was concerned it was overheating. And I drove it. Can't find anything wrong with it. Until now. Here's the situation. The thermostat on this vehicle is set to open. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but it's set to open when the temperature gauge reaches the quarter mark right there. And that's what it's been doing. And when you're driving, and in summertime like this, you'll have the air conditioning on. And when you turn the air conditioning on, it kicks the cooling fan on. All right? Turn the air conditioning off, and that cooling fan shuts off as well. So I thought maybe the relay for the cooling fan was bad, but found out I was also wrong there. This cooling fan does not kick on until the temperature gauge on this vehicle just goes above the halfway mark. Now, why that is, I don't know. I would think that the thermostat would open at the halfway mark and then the cooling fan would kick on a little bit later. But the thermostat opens at the quarter mark, fan kicks on at the halfway mark. So the reason I couldn't duplicate the problem was because I had the air conditioning on the whole time, and this cooling fan stayed on the whole time, and it kept the engine temperature within the quarter mark range. Now, the reason this is overheating is I just got home, I was sitting here letting it idle for a bit. I turned the air conditioning off because I was listening for a noise, and after about 5 minutes the engine started warming up and it reached the halfway mark. I started smelling a little coolant, so I popped the hood, and as you can see here, it's all wet. You can see the coolant down in there, and on the driveway here you can see those puddles there where it's leaking. What happened was when the engine temperature finally reached the halfway mark, which was the first time it's done it for me since I've been driving it, it revealed this crack in the radiator right there. Now, boom, there you go. That's the problem. So, finally found the problem, found the leak, found out why it was overheating, and my mom was not insane. She was right on. As you can see, there's the temperature right there. So if I turn the air conditioning on, which will kick that cooling fan on, it'll eventually bring the temperature gauge down to the quarter mark, and there will no longer be enough pressure on the cooling system to force the coolant out of that crack in the radiator. When it gets up to halfway point though, it's got enough pressure built up to start forcing it out of the radiator like that. And to be honest with you, I don't know. It might not. We'll see. So anyway, cracked radiator on the 96 Beretta here. That's plastic for you. I'll never understand why they use plastic components in engine cooling, because all the heating, cooling, expanding, and contracting stuff gets brittle and then it cracks and breaks. I've seen it so many times. You take like this Silverado here, even that's got a plastic radiator housing, but Excursion isn't up here. It's got a big diesel in it. It has nothing plastic on the coolant side whatsoever. Everything is, the radiator's aluminum, all the coolant lines are steel, or yeah, well, no, not necessarily steel, probably aluminum. But the rubber hoses, there is no plastic whatsoever. Well, as you can see, the coolant leak has stopped. Let's see where that temperature gauge is at. Yep, see, sure enough, as soon as it starts dropping down, the leak goes away. So there you have it. That cracks just to the point where it won't leak if it doesn't have enough pressure on it. It has to get up to the halfway point on the gauge in order for it to start leaking. So I'm glad I found the problem. It had me a little puzzled there for a bit. I've been driving this for about a week now. Haven't been able to find it until now. So, until next time, ta-da!